Higher capacities, more performance, more possibilities.
Welcome back, everybody, to Week 5 of the Hearthstone Legendary Series. We just came off of an exhilarating, fun series between Zalae and Dark Wanix. Now we go into our second semifinal between Sjow and MagicAmy. This one is going to be a battle between friends, I think, and people who respect each other in terms of skill level. And the winner of this will go on to face Dark Wanix in the Grand Finals.
So it should be a great Grand Finals, regardless of who makes it through. But Sjow and MagicAmy, been really impressed with both of their play so far in this tournament. MagicAmy, of course, made it all the way through the open bracket and came out on top yesterday. And then she also managed to take on Life Coach earlier on, and it was a pretty convincing victory as well. So we'll have to see how she's going to do against Sjow.
Yeah, so here we go into getting ready for the versus matches. I guess on the last note, I want to give a final shout out to how well Zalae did as an unknown guy. Even before MagicAmy entered the tournament, she had some notoriety. She has a team, a lot of players know her, but no one really knows about this guy. That could be you guys too. If you go to esl.gg/legendary series, you guys can also sign up to show your skills. Whether it's up against wonky decks like this Warlock from Dark Wanix, or it's up against some of your friends, even just gather a few of them to sign up. Just go to the link at the bottom. The cup is tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific. So you have nothing to do. You're getting ready for the holidays. You're starting to come back from college or taking some time off of work. If it's a Sunday afternoon, just playing it, see how well you do it. You might even meet TJ on it. He's going to sign up all the time.
and beat you with my Hobgoblin Warrior.
For sure,
it's going to happen.
And then you can tell stories about it. And in the meantime, we also want to thank our sponsors that make this possible too at Newegg Esports. If you go to the link there on the bottom of your screen, you can find some cool deals with Western Digital, Crucial, Cooler Master.
Yeah.
You can find it all at the Newegg links that we just provide for you, whether you want some cool package stuff on memory or storage. So that's going to bring us to our second semifinal between Sjow and MagicAmy. Let's take a look at the versus screen and see what these guys have prepared lineup-wise. Sjow has lined up the Druid into Warrior perfectly. In fact, it seems like he got everything he wanted here.
Yeah, and which is crazy considering these two players both have the exact same decks pretty much. They both have Control Warrior, they're both bringing Handlock, and they're both bringing a very similar style of Druid. I would even say the deck lists are probably going to be mirrored as well. So Sjow, I think, got a little bit of the better end of this.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, I've seen 3 decks match up very favorably in the past, and like people still don't win it. I mean, we saw
like last game.
Right, last series we saw Warrior beat the Druid, and then Warrior beat the Paladin, and then Warrior beat the Paladin again. So like, you know, at this point, everyone's probably a little bit sick of the Warrior today. People want to see it probably get crushed a little bit, which means both these guys can just agree to go 1-1 split right now. Why not just start in Game 3?
Yeah. I think that would make it a little easier on us too.
Sure.
I think we're going on.
We've been going 7 or 8 hours by now, so it's been a long day, but we've had a lot of fun. I personally, this is my favorite week by far. When you're having good games, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Game number 1 is Druid versus Warrior. This one can be lightning speed depending on how. Well, it depends on how Sjow starts, and with a beginning like that, Wild Growth into the Yeti, that's pretty problematic.
I actually forgot about this. Sjow is not running the standard Druid deck like MagicAmy had. He's actually got mechs in this Druid deck, so we're actually going to go ahead and do a quick game remake.
Yeah, a little lag there in terms of connecting to, which would be a shame. You know, having Wild Growth into Yeti is it's pretty much the ideal.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he'll get something similar.
The exact same. Everybody do the exact same thing.
It's
Yeah, I think we'll probably be able to get that underway for in just a second. So Sjow comes in here as a player who has yet to have a breakout performance in Hearthstone. He's done well on the ladder, and he even has like a pretty popular stream, like pretty successful. But I don't think he's yet made it into the big time or the big leagues, compared to how he was on top in the beginning of StarCraft 2.
He's competed in a few tournaments, but like you said, never really had that like top finish in any of them. I think he definitely has the potential to do that, though. He definitely grinds games on ladder. He's very comfortable with the decks that he plays, Warrior being the main one, and it takes a lot to be #1 on EU and NA simultaneously, but he needs to be able to translate that into tournament victories.
Well, for guys like Sjow, it's no brainer, right?
Yeah.
Just get #1 on all 3 regions that he can.
Yeah, which happened today, didn't it?
It did. You know, being able to grind out a lot of those games with the Zoo deck is really important. It's a combination of that deck being really good and also being really fast.
Yeah.
Because you can put out a lot of games quickly. So we're going to do it for a quick remake just because we had some problems with connection, I think, from one of the players' ends. And hopefully it won't be too much of a disruption, but it just happens.
So I think this deck actually even has a better chance against Warrior than the standard mid-range Druid. Because Mech is a little bit faster, it's a little bit more aggressive, but the creatures are still really sticky, and it can be tough for a Warrior to be able to deal with and remove a lot of those even smaller mechs. And so you can really get into a position where just a Force Ninja Savage War, or even just a Savage War, can blow up in the game. And that's just a lot of times just how Druid ends up beating Warriors.
Yeah, well, you know, this is pretty much, it could be the last match of the day for them. This is single elimination, unfortunately. Just, you know, we don't have the time constraints. Imagine we played double elimination bracket.
Oh,
we would need a few days to play it
Yeah.
out. But it is our last broadcast of the 2014 year. We're going to be starting again in January 3rd in 2015. That's going to be our next ESL Legendary Series broadcast. So this is going to be one for you guys to enjoy. Hope you guys are having fun for the holidays.
And we're giving you guys a little bit of a festive look with our fireplace back there, throwing up some stockings. I think we tried to put a Santa hat on the bear, but that didn't quite make it through. He's not as festive as the rest of us,
Sure.
but I'm looking forward to it. We'll have a couple weeks where you have chances. How is it going to work with the open bracket? Since there's going to be 2 weeks of...
It's the same as always. The 2 players qualify.
But what if there's... No, for the actual Sunday Cup. Since there's going to be 2 Sunday Cups in between now. And then, I guess we'll find out.
Just go to the website and check out.
Go to the website and check out. Insert website plug here. And that's not quite as good of a start, but that's still pretty good. He's got a lot of synergy with the Mech Warper.
Yeah, I mean, you can essentially get some mana back through the Mech Warper as if you were innervating out.
Greeting.
Oh.
Man, everything gets a lot cheaper, and there's no way to remove it. No Fiery War Axe.
Oh.
Sorry.
Warrior's great.
Armor up.
Well, this makes it a little bit worse. But Spider Tank is great against Fiery War Axe.
Yeah, but not against the cool Taskmaster to finish it off either.
I'd say this is a pretty good start for...
If Amy didn't hold this Fiery War Axe, I think the game would have been blown out of the water.
Yeah, if you let that Mech Warper snowball some necks onto the field, it's hard to catch up.
Because the Yeti would have came out in that turn, and the following turn it would have been Harvest Golem and Spider Tank.
Yep.
And then Azure Drake. It's like...
Wow. That's a big board. But turns out that now instead of having that fantastic play, Sjow's facing a Cruel Taskmaster with nothing on his board. Is he thinking about just armoring up, coining armoring up?
I think it's coining out the Armor Smith.
Yeah.
But then you can't coin Sludge Belcher the next turn, which I think is the higher priority.
Yeah. Eventually, if you could make it through the next turn, you could find a way to hide the Armor Smith behind the Sludge Belcher, but that's just really risky.
Pilot Shredder is much stickier, so it feels a little bit better, and overall gives you more stats. So I think it's better. The Mechanical Yeti also sometimes helps your opponent.
Potentially more stats.
You're right. It could
More
be,
times than not.
It could be a novice engineer.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh, the Robo Cub.
So cute.
Also scary at the same time.
Right. Definitely more on the scary side. Nice draw for Amy. She's able to pick up a way to be defensive and shield slam.
Yeah.
Definitely priority considering that swipes with spell power could ruin a day. Oh!
Well, there's a way that
Made to fit.
she can still utilize the... Well, it depends here.
Yeah. Ah, perfect. Very good spot. Don't even
Yeah.
have to use shield block.
That's actually a really good draw. And that could have been a little bit awkward if...
It was a 3 mana minion.
Yeah.
3 health minion.
Yeah. Still wouldn't have changed the play too much, but
Yeah,
she
very
was
good
definitely
spot,
banking
though.
on the fact that she could clear off whatever it was there and still gain an armor enough to be able to clear it off.
So with the mech warper, you're allowed to drop 2 other mechs here. You could squeeze in the Robocub, right? And you can also squeeze in
The Yeti.
the Yeti. But
Yeah.
instead, he thinks the armorsmith's too much of a threat. And I don't blame it.
Now this is an interesting choice here. Whether or not to mech warper or throw out the Robocub.
I think Robocub,
Well, if you mech,
because if you, next turn you can still do the same thing
yeah,
with the mech warper and the Harvest Golem and Yeti. You can play them both in the same turn.
and I think with this way also it plays into just throwing down Ancient Allure next turn.
Oh, you're right. Also a good point, man.
I have no time for games.
Okay. Are MagicAmy, are all decks just completely golden? I think they are.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point.
Because she
That's
had.
a lot of dust and gold, like worth of packs and cards.
I'm 100% sure she had Golden Coin in Handlock. And if she has Golden Coin in Control Warrior, which is one of the most expensive decks, I'm just impressed by that.
You're right. Is there not a single non-golden?
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. Dr. Boom. It's pretty good to play on turn 7.
Combo, 21 damage.
Well, you can clear the board here with the swipe
Yeah.
and not give the Sylvanas any value. Well, actually, no, that's actually pretty... No, it's not. You'd be taking quite a bit of damage to face, but...
Well, no, you'd be taking 5. You'd most likely swipe the Dr. Boom.
Yeah, but then the boom bot damage also.
Oh, you're right. I think that you gotta do that though. You're
Yeah.
not worried about the kill.
Yeah.
And then what happens is you can actually, I think, innervate the rest of this.
Whoa! 4 damage and 4 damage.
That's a lot.
Yes, it is. All of a sudden, Sjows at 16 health. I guess it's not
Yikes.
too bad, because usually the win condition's based around Alex Strasza, and you're not really giving Alex Strasza much value in this situation.
Right. Wow. Well, once upon a time, Sjow actually had a decent amount of health.
Huh.
Still a little bit scary.
Whoa! Doesn't even think about it. I guess there's not too much to think about.
Though. If this hits face, I mean, it's an opportunity for it to kill.
Mech Warper's pretty good, though.
Druid needs to have big game hunter.
Gotta load that Yeti here.
18 damage available right now for Druid. I mean,
Well,
Yeti and Lotheb also fit the curve.
And it
Ragnaros can miss.
also puts a lot of threat on the board, which would set you up for the combo lethal next turn. And what is a warrior gonna do to gain back a board with Lotheb Battlecry on 9 mana?
Right.
Can't brawl.
Oh, that's a good point.
You have to make sure that you make it up with creatures.
I
And
think
really,
so.
there's
I
no
like
other
it.
place. There's no other plays here.
Well, the only other place to play clear, and I don't think that's the right one.
No. You're running out of
And this
cards.
rag has a 50-50 to miss. It can hit the Harvest Golem, which does the same exact thing as missing.
Yeah, this is...
In fact, his best play might be just a shield block. Right? Hold on. 27 health right now. There's there's 11 damage on board plus 6 from the Savage Roar, so that's 15 plus the 14, so that's 29 damage. She needs a shield block right here.
Yeah.
Shield block keeps her alive,
If she just armor ups and if the rag kills...
no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, if she shield blocks, if she just armors up and kills, like, the Yeti or the Lotheb, it's fine. But worst case scenario, the 50% of the time, you might just lose.
She's dead.
Can you make that call? He's holding 2 cards in hand.
It's hard because you think about his plays. Lotheb, Mechanical Yeti actually fit the curve well. So it's not like he was making a desperation play.
Right.
Nothing that he did really like telegraphed that he would have combo available in hand.
Oh man, this needs to
Whoa.
hit. This needs to hit one of the adjacent minions to the Harvest Golem. Duh!
Okay.
Well, freeze a minion.
Freeze Alex Strasza and just Go for it.
27 health.
Ugh.
He's got 7, 11, 25 damage. He's 2 damage off lethal.
Wow.
Does he even have a? Does he have a choice?
It's gonna clear.
Uh,
Did he clear or go face?
I don't know. Looks like he's going face. All for it.
Whoa, okay. And then he's going to freeze the Alex Straza.
Yep. Saying, you know what? You already used your ability to heal, so I'm gonna go for it.
And with double combo in his deck, he knows, oh, Sledge Belcher's going to stop it in its tracks.
Wait. What? Did he not attack with his face?
No, he did.
Why does he have 4 health? He was 2 damn. He had. Maybe I missed it. Yeah. Alright, whatever.
It was 25 total damage.
Right.
And MagicAmy had 25 health plus 4 armor.
Oh, okay. Okay. You're right. I thought I misread it. I was like, what? Wrath into Wrath, pretty legit. But looks like he's pretty much locked out of this game unless he can find a way to clear everything with like Big Game Hunter, and Rag has to miss again.
Yeah, he's a little disappointed.
Oh.
Whoa! Well then. That is a card. And a pretty good card, in fact. So he's still in this, but it's Sjow fallen on rough times. And Shield Maiden is pretty nice.
Well, it's pretty close to lethal. In fact, you can set up. How can you set up? You can set up. I don't know. I guess I'd be scared of dying. I was like, you could set up a way for the Ragnaros to shoot to win, but it's only 25% chance. Still pretty though.
Yeah.
I think you don't want to give up any dominating position.
Yeah. You can Shield Maiden and Death Spite here.
Right.
Which would be a safe play. Because then if you Death Spite the Spider Tank, you'd still be... You would end up gaining 2 armor from that scenario. So you'd still be at 11 health. So any one damage card wouldn't matter.
Okay, well the Order of Rag will shoot before Barongeddon, so it might kill something that Barongeddon was going to shoot anyways.
And
which
it does.
is exactly what happens. Awkwardly enough.
Oh! Oh, that's rough.
That is the worst draw in this deck. Well, I think there's nothing much to it. I think Sjow's dead.
He is. Well,
because there's no way for him to guarantee his safety now that executes in there.
Well,
so he's just gonna attack face.
Okay, that's it. Yeah.
Oh, you just execute the 3-1.
Yeah.
Attack the face. Do a little dance. And well, Sjow's gonna have to again.
Once again, Warrior goes into.
Yeah, he's gonna have to deal with the fact that he just lost Druid versus Warrior.
Warrior's cleaning up today.
Warrior cleans up a lot of the times. But MagicAmy made some pretty good plays.
I will agree.
Pretty good plays.
I will agree. Sjow went for it. He had a chance to clear, but decided to go aggressive, go for the face. And there was chances where it could have paid off, but Sledge Belcher just stopped him completely in his tracks and just didn't get what he needed. But MagicAmy played that really well, and she's going to go a game up.
Yeah, I think as if my sources are correct, that was the deck she climbed the ladder the most with. She's like top. Okay. She's like ranked 30 or something right now on NA, and she primarily used it playing Warrior.
All right. Well, she's gotta put her handlock up against Sjow's Warrior now, and this could be a rough matchup as well. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Sjow has a lot of experience playing against handlock, just because of ladder. There's a lot of handlock on ladder, and he's had to beat quite a few to make it to where he is.
This is a long matchup, though. And I think we're going to be here for a while. hope you guys are getting comfortable starting up your own fireplace. We've seen
We
Handlock
definitely
versus
are.
Warrior, we've seen Handlock versus Control Warrior several times today and yesterday and the week before that, and I'm pretty sure we'll see it next time too.
Anything's better than Priest Mirrors.
Priest Mirrors was definitely the most brutal.
Yeah, at least in this one, there's a lot of interactive turns.
Yeah.
In Priest Mirror, there is some interactive turns, but it's once in a blue moon.
The action can be pretty high octane.
High octane Priest Mirror.
It is, man. Lots of injured Blade Masters and Circle Feelings and stuff. Okay, well, pretty much tap. You don't have an even way to begin threatening the Ancient Watcher. Also, you have Mountain Giant.
Job's done.
Okay. Well, Sjow's got some removal here. He does have Execute. Not really any way to proc it, though. He's going to dig a little deeper. Double Execute. Still no way to reliably get a
Ooh.
damage
Twilight
minion,
Drake.
though.
That's really inconvenient for Sjow. Like, the fact that he doesn't have, like, an immediate answer. He has to, like, take some damage with the Drake, so the Drake immediately gets value.
Yeah. Which is what you want.
Right.
Look at all those golden cards.
All golden. That's so crazy. You're right, like, every single card is a golden card.
I'm jealous.
How many packs has she opened?
Thousands.
Yeah,
Has
I
to be.
bet.
There's no way that you can get
Golden
all golden
Jiraxis,
cards.
Golden Control Warrior.
There's no way you can get all golden cards just from. Well, actually, no, I don't want to say that.
Maybe like MagicAmy doesn't play any other deck, but that's not true. She also had like she also plays like Miracle Rogue, so she must have played like
Her druid is all gold, or very close to all golden as well. It seemed. We didn't see all the cards, but I don't think I saw a coin on that one. Is it possible to get all golden card collection at this point in the game without buying any packs? Just from
no way.
free to play?
Absolutely no way. Unless you get like 12 win arena runs like every single day. Like there just can't be.
Well, you can feel pretty comfortable playing this Mount Giant because you know if your opponent didn't have a way to deal with the Twilight Drake, then it's possible that they don't have a way to deal with the Mountain Giant.
Well, that's a different category with this big game hunter
Yes,
out.
it is.
The problem is you can't reliably do both. You can't remove both of these without floating a mana or just getting some value collected against you. But I think BGH against the Giant is more than warranted here.
Yeah. At that point, you can't really worry about floating a mana. You just have to play what you can.
Well, this is where Defender Vargas is pretty strong.
Oh, yes.
You can kill off the first body of the Sludge Belcher, and it's
still
already
leveled up
served
high.
its job at this point by now. And what's even slightly better is it inconveniences the play. So Sjow executes, and then he can't play Shield Maiden, has to play Sludge Belcher.
Sludge
instead.
Belcher, yeah.
Or he can Fiery War Axe and chop down the Ancient Watcher.
That plays okay. Actually, I like that better because then you still have Shield Maiden in your hand to get your armor total up a little bit to be able to use shield slams when you draw into them, and you're not so worried about picking it up. But it looks like Sludge Belcher is going to be his play.
Yeah, I guess it's okay because it's even if he Hellfires, you still have the same exact possibility. You can use your Fiery War Axe to kill the Ancient Watcher.
The Ancient Watcher ain't going anywhere.
Right. So before it's like, well, sometimes you want to make sure to hedge your bets so that way you don't lose, like you don't lose his BGH for free if he had Dark Bomb. But even so, like he takes another card out of your opponent's hand, still okay.
And you're still happy with the work that BGH has done so far.
Yeah, but you still have to talk to him about benefits and healthcare and stuff. So
Yeah.
He's a pretty costly employee. He takes an entire deck slot.
And sometimes even 2. Sometimes he brings
Well,
his brother.
No, that guy's gone.
Soleil got run out of business because he hired too many big game hunters.
Well, no, actually, he just got destroyed by the Arcane Golem. That was the Zoom of Doom. The Doom Zoom. It just sat there on the perch on the end turn.
And it was the last card too.
I know. It's like that was like such a great game.
So fitting.
One of the best Hearthstone games in recent memory.
Yeah.
You know, sort of like the Kalento Strifecro match too.
But in a different way.
In a very similar way. It was very epic. It came down to the last couple turns.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, it was very tightly contested.
I guess I just said different way just because of how different Dark Onyx's deck is.
Well, I mean, Strifecro also had a very unique deck at the time.
Oh yeah, at the time it was very, yeah. Good point. Good point.
Sjow doesn't kill off the 1/2 slime with his big game hunter. Is it to play around Mortal Coil?
Mortal Coil, yeah. Because he knows he can't proc it well. Because he's got a Sledge Belcher protecting it.
Wow, that's pretty good. To play, so that way he can keep his big game hunter as just threat for damage. It's very advanced play, I like it.
Advanced. Sjow is a very advanced person.
It's just a way for me to compliment someone while like being respectful about how silly I am. It's like, yep, Prodan, you're an idiot.
Sage Watcher doing some work here.
It is,
providing a wall.
Feel okay dropping Sylvanas here?
Yeah.
I have no time for games.
I like it. I
Shield
think
Semi and Age Watcher doesn't feel very good.
no. At the same time, like, you're okay with the Ancient Watcher surviving or dying, because... or sorry, being taken. Because if you do take it, then it's like you're able to get past a taunt. If it doesn't, your Fire War Axe can chop it down. And you also have the Gromash. So the Gromash is now like officially starting to threaten to kill, because you're starting to get to those late stages of the game.
Definitely. But this Sylvanas is actually kind of problematic. It's annoying. How do you deal with this the best way?
I wonder.
You don't have a silence, so I suppose you
Just ignore it?
don't have a choice. Removing it seems like a really bad idea. Oh, I guess you could Shadow Flame your Watcher, but that's really poor. There's no way to actually deal with it otherwise. You're saving your Siphon Soul for bigger fish.
Yeah. Well, this is okay.
Oh. Actually, I wasn't considering this either. Suiciding your entire board.
That's not the worst thing. You're trading a lot of cards into
It's
just a Sylvanas, though.
Pretty close to the worst thing, though. Oh, here we go, Ragnaros. Oh, okay, never mind. I thought it was like Ragnaros.
Got a little bit ahead of yourself there.
I was like getting excited. I was like, we might see the conclusion of this game soon.
No.
Oh.
Rag and then
Yeah.
double Molten Giant Siphon Soul. Well, actually, no, that would.
No, you're right. It's too gung ho to do it that
Yeah.
way. Especially because it's not even that, but like, you know, if he kills off the Rag and then he puts like a taunt up, it's like, well, actually, you know, you screwed yourself.
Yeah.
This matchup is a very drawn out one for sure.
Yes, it is.
So
There can be openings for the Warrior, but it usually comes very late into the game. And the Warlock's win condition is just sort of starving out the Warrior. If the Warlock wins, it's usually down to the last cards. Sometimes the Warrior can win a little earlier.
The Warrior definitely can try to find an opening.
Yeah.
But Amy's got several options at disposal. The tricky thing is trying to get out Molten Giant before Jiraxxus. And like getting out Molten Giant without dying. And because it costs 7, I think it's a little bit too expensive at the moment. You can definitely get away with playing something else.
Yeah.
Like double 5-drop. Like Sludge Belcher Lotheb, Sludge Belcher Antique.
You want to use the Antique Butt. NT Killbot this early though.
Well, when you're that close to Molten Giant range, probably not.
Yeah. Especially when you have one in your hand.
It's very curious how Lotheb was seen as one of the best legendaries for a long time since Next Ram was released, but yet a lot of decks seem to have cut him.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think people realize that like Lotheb's really powerful effect, but he's not a crucial effect. It's just one of those things that's like great, especially now that Miracle Rogue's been phased out.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I actually don't need Lotheb as much. Like priests no longer need him as much because that was like priests' only way to fight against Miracle Rogue.
Yeah.
Was to Lotheb.
True.
Or like Organized Circle clearing against like a concealed gadget.
Druids are still pretty problematic, and it can be pretty effective against Druid.
Yeah, I'm not saying no one runs Lotheb. I'm just saying it's not as popular as it used to be. Before it was like, oh, auto-include Lotheb in every deck.
There's actually a lot of cards that fit in that slot too, now, that were added in GVG, that a lot of decks find pretty crucial. Like anti-Killbot. But, oh, you can run both. Yep. Well, this is weird. It's hard to clear off both of these guys. The Shield Maiden's pretty problematic.
Many possibilities.
It is problematic, but I mean, you still have ways to play like around it just by anti-Killbot right here.
Sunfire Protector Shadow Flame? No.
Okay. Might as well Shadow Flame the Owl.
Yeah. Deny a card draw as well. You can tell she thought about it for a second. But this is the better play.
Well, I think this warrants some kind of like Barongeddon. Or an ability to set up like Gromosh, because you do have the Death Spike combo soon. Maybe you don't need to. Maybe you don't need a Barongeddon.
You just Shield Slam. Just Armor Smith.
You can Armor Smith instead.
Yeah.
But you do want to get this first swing of the Death Spike out of the way, right?
Yeah. You don't want to. Oh wow. I thought that he might not want to be too aggressive here, because this is 13 health is a pretty decent range for Molten Giants to come out.
Right, you can always tap to 1 health and do some wonky stuff. But that's only if he has 2. He doesn't have 2. And Big Game Hunter does allow him to squeeze in a few other things here. He can squeeze in a Molten Giant and a taunt with the Ancient Watcher out. That's actually just enough mana. You can, for 3 mana Molten Giants, you can play that Ancient Watcher, taunt it up.
Yeah.
Seems reasonable considering that there isn't a second swing of Deathbite. You have 2 reasonable taunters. It's still a board that's like, against Brawl, but your opponent's only holding 4 cards.
And you can't really play around Brawl too much at this stage.
Well, yeah, you bring up a good point too. Like, how much are you gonna just concede to your opponent in terms of board development?
Yeah.
I've got the beast in my sight.
Okay.
Ancient Watcher and Sun Fury.
Yes, indeed.
Positioning does matter. I think putting it in the. Oh.
Whoa.
So playing around Black Knight.
Okay. Have we seen Black Knight? Did Sjow run Black Knight?
Actually, Black Knight hasn't appeared at all today, except for within Zalae's
Druid, yeah.
Added in his Druid.
Yeah. Just another thing that I haven't seen much Black Knight at all across the last couple weeks.
Might be time to rag. Oh, you can't fit that in execute. My apologies. So I guess he just sits in here and waits it out. Still no rush. Still has a way to potentially kill next turn.
Yeah, this is. I think Sjow's in a pretty good spot. Whoa, Molten Giants.
Monster number 2 is a nice draw, though.
Yes, it is. Tap, Molten Giant, anti-Killbot.
bit surprised that he killed off the Armor Smith. But I suppose because this controls the amount of damage. Because, like, no matter what, that Death Bite is going to be killing off the Ancient Watcher. So I guess you just care about the armor gain.
Yeah. Well,
Then like your Antique Healbot drops. Yeah, it's like Ragnaros really needs to do some heavy lifting here. Needs to hit either the Molten Giant or the face, just not the Sun Fury. Preferably Molten Giant.
Ooh,
Oh,
okay. That's
nice
pretty big.
shot.
Yeah. Well, Mountain Giant can be pretty painful to draw later in the game, but
Yeah. That's. I mean, there's a way for Amy to deal with it. It's tap Siphon Soul. How close is she? How deep is she into her deck?
pretty
Because
deep.
if she's in pretty deep, then it's like she has to be careful of how much she taps. Otherwise, Jiraxis, like she might be clocking herself when Jiraxis comes out.
Well, what have we not seen? We've been through most of the cards. I was going to say, we haven't seen a second Twilight Drake. I probably think she's, I don't know, 3 or 4 cards. Let's see if we can get a card check from the admins.
Wait. Let me get this straight. Not only does MagicAmy have every single golden card known to mankind in the universe in Hearthstone, she also has the Tespa card back?
Yep.
I call shenanigans.
She could.
That card back is worth hundreds of dollars.
the golden cards that she has are worth, I think,
What?
far more than hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, but I guess if you just go that far, you might as well go all out.
Yeah, that's true. Wow.
How much money? Okay, someone needs to calculate what it costs to get like the lowest Tespa skin, as well as like how much money it costs to get a full golden collection, because that's how much money MagicAmy's account's worth.
Tweet it.
Tweet it. Yes, let us know, please. I'm dying to know more so than the winner of this match.
So many possibilities.
I think it's time to start putting out other reasonable threats too. Jiraxis can still be held off to the point where it's like, you know, Harrison fatigue, etc.
Yeah.
It seems like that's the case. Like, Jiraxis will always be like played after the Harrison here.
Either have to put it down for pressure earlier or save it for.
Drake will only be a 4/6, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that strong. Might as well just play the Mountain Giant.
And
You're not afraid of. Oh, unless he's cool Taskmaster. Oh.
That's close.
Very close.
But now this Mountain Giant becomes problematic because he doesn't have a way to get rid of this. And armor up pass.
How did MagicAmy even get the Tespa's card back? I mean, Tespa's supposed to be for like an American college organization. She lives in Korea. It baffles me. Okay, I'm done. I promise. It's like something that's like, how? Because I didn't get the Tespa card back. I begged Blizzard. I was like, let me have it. It's so cool. The flames.
The salt
You know,
emanating
it has
from me
these
right
gems that like effervesce. It's great. It's beautiful. But like, no, I couldn't have it. Anyways.
now. And she does. How do you feel right now, Ronan?
I feel pretty salty.
I can
I am the salty dog.
I can tell.
That's the spam going on in chat. Wow, it's come down to this where Sjow might have to legitimately brawl. But he might brawl into the 8-8. Oh boy.
Well, if the 3-3
May
survives.
the best man win.
Oh, geez, this is a big brawl.
Alright, medium
Okay.
result, medium result.
It's an in-betweener. Actually, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and I think you toss out Harrison here, right? What? Well, how deep is Sjow into his deck? Is he still waiting for the draft?
He was 10 cards when we checked.
Oh, okay. I thought he was like MagicAmy status, where there's like 2 cards remaining.
She now has 2 cards remaining.
Okay, and then now basically, Harrison will deck out, and then starts like this struggle, like tug of war. Can Warrior kill Handlock in time?
I think if Harrison's here, that'll go through every single card. I
Yep.
think he has
I'm out
exactly
of
7 cards left.
cards.
Well, we could see double Whirlwind he runs.
Alex Straza. Oh, a weapon. Perfect.
Nice.
Made to fit.
Here we go. So can MagicAmy stabilize in time?
I don't think she has the card power to do it.
Yeah, this is why like Handlock does struggle against Drax. This is funny. This is why Handlock does struggle against Warrior in the late stages of the game, because Drax used to be a trump card. Now, like with Harrison Jones, it's like,
What are you supposed to do without hands?
well, more specifically, it's like he decks out, and it's like I can't do much. Very good sequencing to put Mortal Coil at the beginning of that. Oh, forgot the silence.
Okay, sequencing, I guess.
Yeah, ends up. I was gonna say good sequencing on like the Mortal Coil before it.
Yeah.
I don't know if the fatigue will matter here. All it matters is whether or not Sjow can go for a one-hit KO. And he doesn't have enough armor. If he had Whirlwind Execute, it would be it.
We just Whirlwind Execute and set up for the following turn.
You don't have Execute. That's the problem.
Oh.
If he had Whirlwind Execute, this game's over.
Oh.
He has to Dr. Boom and Whirlwind probably after this. These bombs. Where they gonna land? Oh. Alright.
2 4 damage bombs. Wow. And MagicAmy's on her last card too, so
Yeah, so now why not just like kill off this Infernal? Because that's his last taunt. And I mean, you have Grommash Whirlwind to kill. I mean, not to mention that you have Dr. Boom on the board.
Yep.
Okay, that's going to do it, I think. There's no way for MagicAmy to win this game, and that's going to tie up the series. Warrior strikes again.
Wow. I think Warrior has like an above 80% win rate today.
Yep.
Might even be higher. Has Warrior lost today?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Tides definitely lost his Warrior versus Druid.
True.
I mean, of course, the Warrior mirror matches, Warrior had to lose, but in terms of a non-mirror matchup, Warrior did lose, I think, once or twice today.
Okay. Well, that's going to tie it up 1-1. Going to move on to a game 3. So this series will go to a blind pick phase eventually.
It will be, but before we do that, we have one final match here for the lineup phase. Now, thankfully, it's not like Warrior wins and Warrior stays until Warrior loses, because I think it's a very realistic possibility of what could have happened. We're going to have a third match that doesn't include a Warrior class, which is what, TJ?
Druid versus Warlock. Okay.
Because they had the exact same lineup.
Yes, and Sjow is gone.
Well, I mean, it's... Let me check my watch here. It's
He's
9
back.
p.m. here, which means it's 6 a.m. in Central European time, which means it's 9 a.m. in... No, it's got to be like 11 a.m. in Korea. Although MagicAmy looks like she's still in a darker environment because her light's still on.
Are you sure she's in Korea?
Pretty sure. I mean, that's where she says she's from.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think there's a reason. I don't think there's a reason to lie about where you're from. It's like,
You
well,
just shut the
oh, I'm not
blinds.
from Korea. I'm actually from like Russia. It's like, all right, okay.
Well, the Tesper card back.
Oh, you're right. Maybe. Oh man, maybe she is actually in the PST time zone or something close to it.
Could be.
And she's actually in a college dorm. I don't know. No,
It could be.
I'm pretty sure MagicAmy's from
It's
Korea.
pretty easy to simulate a dark environment.
Yes.
Closing blinds.
I simulate dark environments every day.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay, well, moving on to this matchup.
Kipo. So Druid versus the Handlock.
This is okay.
We forgot that this is more of a rampy type of Druid card, right? It's got like Grove Tender.
Grove Tender, and then everything's pretty much else standard. Piloted Shredder instead of Yetis.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's a very cool mix of
Yeah.
like Grove Tender.
Yeah.
I mean, I always think Grove Tender is like Blizzard's way of encouraging people to do something that's outside of Hearthstone. Because they're like, ah, the great outdoors. And collectively, I'm like, guys, what's the outdoors? I like turn to Milkcast. I'm like, what's the outdoors?
It's really weird for people who don't know who Milkcast is. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think there's a good chunk of people who don't know. He is so pissed right now that that's true.
We can actually see him shaking his head.
People don't know that Milkcast is. He used to produce a lot of tournaments online, like Deck Wars.
Used to.
Yeah, like BlizzCon opening weekend stuff. Like he helped produce a lot of stuff. He even did it like Amaz's Jeoparino.
Yeah, yeah.
But people are just like Amaz totally did that. Nope, that was Milkcast.
Yeah. And he's always in Hearthstone Twitch chats.
Yeah, he's
across the
also
world.
Charles Viper on Reddit.
Yep. It's very
It's
outspoken.
like, ah, that annoying guy. It's like, all right.
The history of Milkcast.
So,
you guys are welcome.
he also has walked out of the production room.
He's done.
All right. Well, MagicAmy is stuck here because she didn't get Wild Growth on turn 2. She got it on turn 3. And it's like this little awkward phase where Grove Tender fits the curve. If I give my opponent a coin, or sorry, a mana crystal, does that enable Molten Giant or Mountain Giant a little bit earlier? Instead, she chooses the card ramp. Okay, that's fair. You don't want to like give the handlock player an extra crystal to play the threat earlier than you can play, fight against it.
This also throws into the Zombie Chow. Not that that's a big threat, but it could be a nuisance. Maybe that won't even come into effect, because most likely just going to silence out the Drake here.
Yeah, that's just pretty much what the Keeper's for.
Yeah.
I wonder how strong Grove Tender is in other Druid decks. So I know a lot of people use it in ramp, but you know, it's a card that I'm still kind of mixed on here.
It just seems it's such a weird card to me. Because you're
What the hell is he even talking about half the time with the great outdoors?
And you have to, I don't know, you have to find yourself in a situation where you're willing to trade it off.
Well, here it's actually done a great job controlling the board.
Yeah.
The one thing that I think Grove Tender can be really strong against is decks that usually play really like odd curve and smooth, and then you mess it up, and then you like hit your 5 drops a little bit quicker because you ramp straight directly into it.
Yeah, it helps you hit your curve while it doesn't necessarily do anything.
Like
for
I
your
feel like
opponent.
it'd be better against like a Zoo type deck, because a lot of times Zoo you can't even get Wild Growth off because you have to like Wrath into like Coin Keeper or something like that, so you don't have time to play the Wild Growth. Versus Grove Tender puts a body and you do Wild Growth, and it's like, well, oh, instead of Haunted Creeper, I guess I'll Harvest Golem this turn. You know, it's like, okay, well, not that big of a deal. I don't know.
That's a really good point, though.
I'm just theorizing out loud.
You gave me a little bit more insight into the Grove Tender.
I'm glad. Mission accomplished.
Pitch that to BBC. Do one of those nature shows about the Grove Tender.
Ah, well, this is so annoying. The Grove Tender can't kill off the Earthen Ring Forest here. You want to put out, like, the Druid of the Claw, right? It's just so... It's like the strongest minion by a big margin. But then, like, Hellfire challenges everything. It's just like, attack Hellfire.
Well, the other choice is just to hero power it down and then do nothing. Which is not a choice at all.
Right. Well, I suppose it does slow down Sjow's Mountain Giant.
That's true.
And because if he didn't have the Mountain Giant, that Hellfire play would be optimal, but...
No one slows Sjow's Mountain Giant. No one. Not even a Druid of the Claw.
Well, now you can deal with the Giant, and you didn't have to use Big Game Hunter. That's a pretty big deal. Do you even deal with the Giant, though?
And if you do, what would be the most efficient way to deal with the Giant?
Has to be like a Savage Roar.
Savage Roar and use your face?
Ugh. I don't like the sound of it, but...
Then you could throw down a Grove Tender. clear the board and let the lone.
Yeah, this
lone
turn's pretty
growth
ugly.
tender. Yeah.
It's not very pretty.
Because even Innervate Ancient of Lore, you're still floating a mana from the Innervate, which feels not so great. But judging by that, it looks like that's going to be the play.
I mean, it was like too much of like, I give this up for this. And as a result, he's just like, yeah, screw it. I'm just going to play my game, force her to have the direct answers, which apparently she does.
Double Mortal Coil. That's not too bad, not too shabby.
It's pretty bad for Sjow, though.
Put on some pressure as well.
He's got to swipe and wrath this. So wrath for 1. And that gives up all initiative on the board. Oh man, that would have been so nice. But I think you have to swipe this.
Continue with your line of play.
Well, just because now Big Game Hunter does less damage, and Swipe doesn't clear a full giant, so you need to play more consistent.
There's going to be plenty of other targets for you to utilize that Big Game Hunter on.
Yeah, like right now.
Indeed.
Big Game Hunter and Druid the Claw, or even Spectral Knight.
Or do you want to get rid of the possibility of some of this bomb damage? And Grove Tender and Hero Power.
You only have 6 more mana to work with, though, and if you Big Game Hunter, that means you have to drop a 3 mana, like a Grove Tender. I think I like the 5-drop a lot better. Now, do you taunt this, or do you charge this?
I think you have to preserve some of the health on it, because if you charge it, it's just so risky going into those boom bots.
Okay.
It's just so likely that some of those bombs will hit it down.
With no guarantee of the combo to follow it up, I think you're right. Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. 4 damage.
Oh,
4 damage. What?
What?
Sjow needs to stop taking so much damage from bombs.
Yeah.
Someone tell him.
Yeah.
He's doing it wrong.
That Dr. Boom did work then.
Yeah, he did like almost a pyroblast to the face worth of damage. It was like, imagine if the battle cry said deal 8 damage to the enemy hero, 7/7 for 7.
Yeah.
It's this battle cry, deal 8 damage to the hero, and kill off. That's crazy.
Some ghostly entity just moused over the piloted shredder. Maybe one of our admins doesn't know what a
yeah, that's
pilot
right,
is.
because it's a gold. She even has golden GVG cards.
Yeah, the Druid deck is all golden as well.
Right. Well, to be fair, Druid has a lot of golden cards that you get from leveling up to 60.
That's true.
Like Innervate, Wild Growth, Savage Roar. But like, dang, it's just like you have so many of these golden cards.
There's still some expensive ones that you have to craft.
Yeah,
like
every
Ancient of Lore.
legendary.
Yeah. How many legendaries actually are there though in this deck? Cenarius?
I don't know, actually. It's a good point. This one's not so crazy compared to Control Warrior. Savage Roar number 1 feels like it's justified because you need to push these taunts anyways. And what stinks is though is you don't have your Force of Nature, so you don't have a follow-up. And you also did have Innervate, so like there is a possibility of like double Savage Roar combos. But I think this is
It's pretty
definitely
clean.
warranted.
See what the piloted shredder gets here. Big Owl.
Man, one of the worst possible scenarios.
Yeah. It just dies to so much, so easily. Doesn't really pose much of a threat on the board. Pretty much anything with Battle Cry, you don't want to get from the piloted shredder. Well, a natural mistake. Why?
Because Sjow could have hero powered instead of kill. I think Sjow could have realized he could have hero powered instead of Wrath for 3.
Oh yeah.
Because he has that 2 attack from the Savage Roar.
Yeah.
So you just hero powered. Yeah.
That could end up coming back to bite him.
Or even more specific. No. He could have also Wrath for 1 to draw a card.
Okay.
Anything, either way, he didn't need a Wrath for 3.
Yeah.
Assuming he cared about his health total. Alright, Shadow Flame on the Big Game Hunter. And Druid can now finally seize the initiative back on the board. Wild Growth allows him to draw. Still, oh, sorry, I thought Sjow was the Druid player.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying like Sjow made a mistake. Excuse me, MagicAmy caught her mistake.
Just follow the golden cards.
Yep. Follow your nose, wherever it goes.
Show's running Faceless Manipulator. This is the first time we've actually seen Faceless in Handlock in the last couple weeks. It was put in Handlock a lot before in the past, but I think maybe we see a lot of players now running like double anti-heal bot, which seems to throw Faceless out the window. I like Faceless in the mirror.
Wow, this is actually a really important question. Do I attack the face? Because you have Innervate with the combo. So even if he Farseers up to 21, or 22 rather, you can kill him. Isn't that wild?
That is wild. But does that telegraph anything? You're holding on to that attack.
Well, also it could be like interpret. I don't give Molten Giant taunt.
Yeah, it would open up.
It's like it serves twofold. To deny the Molten Giant plus the Sun Fury Protector, or also being able to play around like a Farseer taunt, or Farseer heal, excuse me.
Show's not really in too much danger though. Got double Sledge Belchers, even Faceless Manipulator. He could just Sledge Belcher after Sledge Belcher after Sledge Belcher.
Yeah. MagicAmy has to pick up more than just this Pilot Shredder. Might need a silence down the road. And oh, keep in mind that she might die too. Like she's at 12 health.
12 health. That's crazy. You really think that 8 damage from those 2 boom bots really starts to add up. Really comes into play as you get down to the wire here.
Okay, so the Pilot Shredder does certainly come out, and maybe it can make a big impact, who knows, but for now, that Sledge Belcher number 2 is going to be a big problem. Ooh. Now he's got a way to disarm the 2-drop that comes out, so Pilot Shredder will no longer be as sticky as we thought.
Good. Sledge Belcher.
Do you Farseer the Drake or yourself? Do you want to heal the Drake so that way you can get more minion trades out of it?
Yeah.
Now it could be able to kill off.
You have so many taunts left in your hand right now. You're not really any danger of just being bursted through.
Wow. Very good play and sequencing from Sjow.
Don't really have much of a choice here. Or do you? He's already been through one of his Savage Roars, so the use of this Force of Nature is.
Yeah, this is really hard. Like, Handlock's held off the aggression so well, and Sjow has so much damage. Or, sorry, so many taunts, and eventually he's going to convert it to damage. He's got 9 damage on board after you kill off Sledge Belcher. And you have 12 health. That is not the most security in the world. You might end up using this Force of Nature to clear off, like,
Show's rocking out right
almost
now.
everything. You have to kill off the Drake, too.
Yeah.
Right? It's too optimistic to just attack 2 to the face. If you attack 2 to the face,
then you're basically just telling your opponent that
I have combo.
yeah. Hello.
You might as well text it to him in Skype, like, hey, Sjow, by the way, I have combo.
Type it in. They can see each other on Skype. You just type it in the Skype chat. Hey, I'm putting you at 14 health. You want to know why?
You might as well just play the rest of this game via Skype. Like, all right, well, I have taunt.
Text-based Hearthstone.
Oh, Draxus doesn't help here. He still dies to the full combo. So, but the thing is, Sjow can, tap into a Molten Giant and taunt it up. All right, MagicAmy is pretty stoic for the most part. Let's see this reaction.
Shields up.
Nope. Nothing. Neither of them.
Nope. Not very happy. Well, looks like you have to commit to just surviving. But
And with both combos down,
yeah,
Sjow can
you can just Jiraxis safely.
and with Jiraxis, she's gonna be put at 1 health.
Right. I'm actually surprised that MagicAmy is going to try and think about this too much, but I think for the most part the consequence is about the same. The problem is you can't just hero power down the owl later, compared to like if you innervate, you can kill up to 2/3, but if you draw Ancient of Lore, you can't like innervate the Spectral Knight.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, you might die to Jiraxis.
Possibility. I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah.
Jiraxis is definitely the more there's the play with zest. It's the zesty play. All right, game 4. We'll be starting in just a sec as game 3 has finished it up, and Sjow takes a series advantage going into the blind pig stage.
This is a tough stage, and we've seen players come back from deficits in the blind pig stage. They can go with any deck.
Thinking handlock versus handlock.
Yeah.
It's too risky to go warrior just on the off chance your opponent has druid.
Yeah.
So I think it's handlock versus handlock.
It's too risky to go druid because
it might head to handlock.
They might get into handlock.
It's a wheel of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
It's a rock paper scissors.
They both have the same exact decks.
So whoever blinks.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have the same exact decks. There's
the same deck choices.
Right.
Like in druid, Sjow has more the mech heavy druid, whereas MagicAmy has like Grove Tenders, a little more standard. Their handlocks differ a little bit as well because Sjow actually runs the Faceless Manipulator, which could be a big card in the mirror matchup.
That's true. That's true. You're actually. It's a really good point. The Faceless might be a big difference maker as well as like other big swing cards. So stack that on top. So my guess is handlock versus handlock. What are you going with? You're going with
handlock versus handlock.
Any chance of a warrior being thrown in there?
There's a possibility that we might see warrior versus warrior.
It is a possibility.
If they both, because
If so, I want you to take my keys and hit me.
They're both pretty confident in their warrior. MagicAmy seems to tend to go more towards the handlock. Yeah. But if they both think that their opponent's going to do handlock, maybe they'll both go with warrior.
All right. Well, we're coming up on like the 9th or 10th hour here of our broadcast. Hope you guys are having fun at our expense, as well as enjoying these games.
Oh, God.
Sjow is going with warrior.
Okay.
And he's going to go warrior against handlock.
This is a rematch of game number 2. A game number 2 that Sjow actually took.
I just want to put it out there that you guys wanted this. You're like, why can't I have my control decks be good against like the metagamers? Everything's so fast and Zoo and Hunter.
Zoo and Hunter.
You guys asked for this. This is what you got. Hope you're happy.
If this was like a month ago, the broadcast would have been over about 2 hours ago. Maybe even more.
Yeah, we actually did. Like week 2 was like all Zoo or something like that.
I was home and like in my bed reading a good book by like 7 p.m.
Yeah, and now it's like almost 10 p.m. I'm actually gonna miss my. I don't think I can go to my friend's place anymore.
Yep.
For the holidays, that's what it's supposed to be. That's why we have these stockings up. But I think I'm gonna go home. I think they'll understand though. Like I mean, we're here having fun.
They might even be watching.
Today was definitely my favorite day of the Legendary Series by a far margin. Like
I would definitely
Dark
agree.
Wonix's decks have been fun. Even like seeing like Life Coach's decks, and being able to see like Zolay make a really deep run, that was really cool. But in the end, it's come down to these two players and what's going to happen in Game 4. Will Sjow win 3-1 and go to the finals against Dark Wonix, setting up an all-Swedish finals?
Whoa!
I think that'd be pretty cool.
Making Sweden proud.
And either of those players getting a ticket to the finals wouldn't surprise me too. It's like, that does make a lot of sense. These are two of the better players, along with Tides of Time. Like when I saw the invite list, Tides, Dark Wonix, Sjow, and Life Coach, I was like, I really could see all 4 of them winning the entire week.
Definitely good.
And I mean, the third is supposed to be even, like another cool lineup too. We have Firebat and Hyped. It's like a rematch from the North American qualifiers for BlizzCon.
It's true.
Because I know Hyped is pretty salty about it. He's like, I lost to the guy that won the whole thing.
Well, and what was interesting about it was they were first and second seed.
Right, and then they matched up in the round of 8.
Which was really unfortunate for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it turned out to be unfortunate for Hyped, but I was expecting Hyped to go really far in that tournament, but it's just losing to the eventual tournament winner is the best thing that you can ask for if you lose out.
Nice lineup with the shield slam, by the way.
Yeah.
So that way it's like perfect, and that's just like small little things that doesn't really take too much of planning coordination, but something you have to keep in mind.
Match the Sledge Belcher with your own Sledge Belcher.
Oh, sorry, and I was being rude. Not only Firebat and Hype, we also have Trump coming on that week too.
Oh yeah, Trump.
It'll be fun to see Trump play. We don't see him in tournaments from him. But
no, but he really.
I mean, he's so close to us. He might as well just win and come down from the Bay Area to SoCal.
When he gets invited to a tournament, though, he really like turns the gears and says, "You know what? I'm gonna go all out and try hard, really for this." So,
I too expect him to play a lot of Warrior and Handlock. Actually, that's not true. Trump also plays a lot of it. Maybe he'll do that.
He's been playing quite a bit of Handlock recently when I see him play Constructed.
Well, it's definitely been a lot of shadow boxing and parrying back and forth, but Sjow is going to try and posture himself up to be finding a way to lethal, I think, because he already has Gromosh in hand. Versus MagicAmy just got taunts and defensive cards for a while.
Yeah. Well, it picks up a
Mountain
threat
Giant's
here.
pretty nice.
Yeah.
In this position.
He's got a pretty good way to proc it for execute, though. But you can't really expect that. And this way you can play something else.
Yeah.
But what do you play at the 2-mana slot along with this Mountain Giant? Or do you just throw down a Sledge Belcher?
Sledge Belcher is more mana efficient. It's like you said, it takes less pressure off the board because he does have an easy execute activator.
But that's both Sledge Belchers. I guess it's not that big of a deal.
That's a good point.
Sledge Belcher seems like a really great card later on.
To like introduce a problem for like
yeah, because
finisher.
You have to. It's actually, it seems like it's harder to deal with than like a taunted up giant, because you can't just get rid of that and then go through. You have to get rid of the Sledge Belcher and you have to get rid of the slime.
Alright, yeah, that's a pretty good point. I think that might come into play, but for the most part, it's really come down to like how you can deal with the pressure from Handlock or from Warrior here.
He's got back-to-back threats.
Yeah, he's got Dr. Boom, he's got Baron Geddon, and then the Big Daddy Gromosh.
Big Daddy.
Isn't Gromosh the dad, or is he the son of Garrosh? I always mix this up. Garrosh is the hero sitting in fire. I guess he's not very good in the kitchen. That was such a bad joke.
I don't blame you, man.
Oh man.
This is a good.
So Garrosh is the guy in the fire.
You get an A for effort.
But you know, is Gromosh the father or the son? I'm pretty sure he's the dad. Oh man. More damage back to the Handlock.
Play your dad as a card?
Yeah, I'd do it.
What would your dad's card be for?
Don't even go there. Don't even go there, Dr. TJ. I was hugged enough as a child. I'm just gonna put it out there.
Okay. Just checking.
So sets up for Gromosh just on the chance. He's got Whirlwind. He's got Executes. So he's got a Whirlwind effect and he's got Executes. So if he can get past one Taunter, he still has. Well, you know, he can't attack a taunt.
No.
And then do damage. He needs this to hit the face. So he's got to put down another minion. Well, pick your giant for 3. I mean, it seems like we have a clearance sale today.
This is good. It still plays around. Well, no, because it's 9 mana. Okay. Well.
Whoa. got
Acolyte.
Acolyte draw.
Throw the Despite into the Earthen Ring for Arseer and maybe get a little bit of double execute action going on.
And you can even set up the second Despite.
That's true. And a big game hunter.
Did you play that a little quick? Should you save second execute in BGH?
No. Actually, I think yes. Well, you want to develop the Despite, I think. Well, if you're not really getting the charge out, it doesn't matter. As far as setting it up for Grommash goes. And the execute, since it's less mana, you can use it in tandem, like with a kill combination with Grommash.
I mean, you do know that he has another giant available to him.
I think actually slowing that down a little bit and thinking a lot about playing that big game hunter would be, I think big game hunter better choice in that situation.
Marginally. The problem is Despite means he can't. If he didn't play Despite, he couldn't BGH like a threat and then play like Baron Geddon.
Oh, yeah.
Not that you would, but because you kill your own BGH, but just keep that in mind. It's like Despite costs a little bit more, so it's a little bit harder to develop it.
Well, this is a tough choice here.
Yeah, this is starting to get very difficult because even if the Despite isn't on the last trigger or charge, well, it got a lot easier just now with the with the antique heal bot. But
You can't play a giant antique heal bot though.
well, no, but it's like now you have multiple answers here. So like Molten Giant Taunt is most likely gonna be the case here. I think you play Defender too, right? So because it costs more. Oh, I guess if you want an Owl to deny the draw, then you play.
Yep.
But yeah, I think this is a pretty good sequence of events.
But Sjow's got good ways to deal with this.
Yeah.
You can clear the board once again.
Yeah, actually, it's a very clean board, and you don't have to even play Baron Geddon.
Nope.
I think you can still, though. Oh, but you want to armor up, actually, so that way Shield Slam becomes an activator for Grommash, too.
Because if you Baron Geddon, you're like pretty much getting rid of the possibility for you to Shield Slam.
Right. And then, not to mention, you might need to use his weapon swing as like a way to get past, and then like the big game hunters doing the damage. Like you might need this to get past an Ancient Watcher.
Yeah.
And then like so you would play Grommash, Shield Slam it, and then like attack the Ancient Watcher.
Okay.
And then the big game hunter plus Grommash is killing.
Gotcha.
So like you actually do need to armor up in that scenario.
True. Very true. Well, once again, MagicAmy falls into a very awkward turn.
It's just play your double 5 drops, it feels like.
But is that enough? Yeah, that's enough. 8 is a lot.
It feels like it's as simple as that, because Hellfire is not very effective. Although you could Hellfire and Antique Heal Bot, but... And then Lotheb becomes safer.
Yeah.
To drop in the future turn. Ah, actually, it's not as clear-cut as you might think. Definitely liking this play, though, a lot more than Hellfire.
Yeah. Think it's Geddon time?
It's Geddon time.
Armorsmith, Baron Geddon. Throw the big game hunter into the Lotheb. You're still putting yourself in the same situation that you would be last turn.
I think it might be time to even rag.
Really? Okay. Where would you throw the big game hunter into the antique heal bot in that situation?
Probably. Seems reasonable. The reason why is because Ragnaros, if the outcome is okay, it either impacts the board enough to like kill off a minion that you don't have to use a weapon for, or you can hit the face and set up once again for lethal opportunity.
That's true, but which one would you rather have Siphon Sold?
That's true, you're Baron Geddon, you'd rather have a Siphon Sold.
Because you haven't, you at least haven't seen 2.
Ah, that's a good point. Touche.
And this...
Yeah, it's a Baron Geddon play.
Okay. So it uses the Despite charge to have a cleaner way to just completely clear the board.
Still has a Cruel Taskmaster in his deck, I believe.
Okay.
Also, it's a reason by the damage to the face. So he's anticipating MagicAmy having an easy way to deal with it, and she does. Big Game Hunter shuts this down.
I've got the beast in my sight.
Gromosh.
Rag and then shield slam the BGH.
Oh man. What if he has Jiraxis? Well, actually no, it just.
What if he has Jiraxis?
Then he goes back up to 15 and he kills off, and you're out of range again. This Rag, actually, either outcome's okay.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Well, hitting the 8
I like that
definitely
the
good.
best. That's my favorite.
Oh! Okay, so if it hit the face, he would have healed back up to 15, killed it off the Rag, and then there's no Harrison Jones to back up Sjow. So, very much the best case scenario happened for Sjow there. If he missed, it would have been a disaster.
Brawl. Not the best.
Made to fit.
He needs to draw into that Harrison Jones. This game hasn't progressed as much as the other games that we've seen. Well, I guess they're probably getting pretty low in card count. Let's see if we can get a card count for these guys. 6 cards for MagicAmy and 11 cards left for Sjow.
It's time. It's time to find out if he has Harrison or not. I think he's already been through both Death Fight.
And he can Mortal Coil here too. This is really great.
Yep. Utilize that 10th mana. Pick up Twilight Drake, pretty reasonable. Sjow needs to pick Harrison. It's not a Harrison.
But that's pretty good. It's still a threat.
It is. It's a proactive threat. It's a 5/5, and you can still go for a Gromosh Whirlwind next turn. There's so many taunts though that MagicAmy can present.
Ooh.
Well, I mean,
I guess that doesn't really matter at this point. Heal for 1.
Well, actually, if you attack into Sylvanas and Hellfire, you heal back up to 15 or 14.
You're not going to really find a better use for Hellfire at this stage.
Huh, that's actually an interesting play.
I like that. Because then you're not risking setting up a taunt wall and risking the Sylvanas stealing something better.
Yeah, I actually really like that.
And you're making as best use of Hellfire and anti-heal bot as you possibly can, and this is what Jiraxis is out. Okay.
That's a good play, TJ. Oh boy.
Yikes.
Oh boy. I think Sjow might have to rely on MagicAmy overextending into a brawl.
It's a shame you can't enrage Gromosh twice.
What if you attack Gromosh just like to the face, like boom? It's like, well, actually, he can't kill Gromosh. Yeah, and then Amy has plenty of time too, so she doesn't need to load up. Like, she just needs the Infernos to stack twice, and then she'll be doing like basically 2 turns worth of damage to kill. So as long as she hero powers one more time, she can just hold there and then force a brawl.
Sjow needs Harrison within the next couple
the fact
turns.
that he hasn't had Harrison is pretty unlucky here.
That's a really big deal. Really big deal.
Also, he realistically might die in a few turns if he takes too much more damage. He's going to try to save Armorsmith for a brawl. But what Amy should do here is actually just hero power, attack, and do nothing else. Yep. Absolutely the right call here.
And Harrison's starting to become just less and less effective.
Yeah. And then from here, you actually have potential lethal.
Ooh. Shjow's got to be disappointed with that. I mean, I guess it's a creature and it's also health gain.
Yeah, I think it's time to brawl.
Made
Here we
to
go. Get in there, Armorsmith. Oh, here we go, Sjow. He's paying so close attention. No!
Oh,
no. So close. Oh, he's going to try to see maybe fatigue can come into play here, but I mean, Jiraxis still has so many heals. If that's the case, maybe Sjow should have done damage.
Maybe the play with the Gromosh just going to face might have been the best choice.
Because then you get the damage in now. Now you don't have the guarantee of doing that damage. And I think Sjow just got locked out of this game. There's no other way for him to get out of here.
Yeah, he's dead.
Harrison is even too late here. So looks like we're going to game 5. And Warrior has lost a game. Can you believe it?
I can only believe it because if he had won, then we wouldn't be going to Game 5.
Right, right. Well, we've been going to Game 5 pretty commonly, and rightfully so between these two players. And, well, it's going to go to the blind pick phase again, where they can choose whatever they want. Sjow can play Warrior once more if he felt like he just got unlucky. MagicAmy seems like Handlock is her deck of choice here at the moment, although realistically she's allowed to switch to. If she senses Sjow stays on the Warrior, she might switch to Druid.
I think she's pretty locked in on the handlock here. I don't think she's really going to switch.
Hand locked in. All right.
She's definitely hand locked in, but
Cool.
it's a possibility. I think we're probably going to see the same matchup. Sjow's pretty confident in this matchup against handlock, and I don't think MagicAmy really is in a position to take a big risk and switch to Druid at this stage. Probably the same matchup.
All right. Well, we also do, by the way, as we have a quick second between games, we don't want to get you guys' feedback on the format. As you know, we're still in the middle of planning things for Season 1 and Season 2. So if you guys enjoy the difference in the format changes, let us know at ESL Hearthstone or at AzumoQT at Frodan. Because we're trying to gauge to see if we can get closer to the ladder experience.
Yeah.
Without taking away, without making it just pure like, well, queue up as many, whatever you want. You have 9 decks, do whatever you want. You know, it's more of like prepare a lineup, you know, that you feel like is decent against meta game. Play the first 3 games separately so that you show each other. But then blind pick, so it's not just pure like guessing. Because if you just blind pick the entire way through, it's like, well, actually, he can just have anything of anything, and I might just die. After the first 3 games, you have a general sense of what the decks are. So then way you can queue up, and you're like, okay, in game 4 or 5, I might have this.
A structured format that still breaks the mold of the last hero standing.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't allow people to be greedy with their tech choices. And yeah, let us know what you guys think. And we are going to jump into this last matchup here soon. And it is going to be the exact same thing.
What I like about this is MagicAmy got a chance to play Handlock again, right? In other last hero standing formats, they wouldn't be able to. It's like once that's gone, she has to 3-0 with Druid. Or, you know, in this case, Sjow would have to like 3-0 with Warrior or something if he was down 0-2. It would be the equivalent to that. Versus you get a chance to play a cool deck like Dark Onyx's Warlock multiple times and show what it's made of. Yep. It's pretty refreshing, honestly.
It really is.
When people are not choosing Warrior every single game, and lining it up, it's pretty refreshing. But the reality is, there's always going to be one deck that's near the top or like the most consistent.
And right now, it's Warrior. Handlock as well. We've seen quite a
We
bit
need
of
some
both of those.
zoos in here, man. Just to change up the pace.
I never thought I'd say this, but please, somebody bring Zoo.
Next week's going to be all zoo.
I want
Please,
Hunter.
Somebody bring Handlock.
I want to see some hunters.
And, you know, it just goes to show you there's room for all kinds of styles. Aggressive decks.
There is. You look at the
Versus,
players that play today, though. There's a lot of control-y players.
Not as many mages as I anticipated, too. I really thought mage would be really
I've only
dominant
seen,
deck.
what, 2? 3?
A few, just a handful. Well, once again, let's do it. Let's do it once more.
Frodan. The handlocks versus the Warriors.
Well,
They're all
he's
blending
got,
together.
who's the handlock player? Is it MagicAmy or Sjow?
I'll give you a checklist. Are there golden cards?
Yes.
Then the handlock
There
is
test the
Amy.
card back.
Yes.
Okay, so MagicAmy does have a play on the coin, which is important. But Sjow should know that this is rather innocuous. Doesn't actually have to do anything. This is partially why a lot of handlock players have adopted like more of that Kalento philosophy of putting out Ancient Watcher, even as quick as turn 1, even if you have Mountain Giant, because you might tap into something else better to activate it.
True. It's very smart. Gives you more opportunities.
Ooh, Sjow does not have removal for that first Drake.
That could be a very dangerous downward spiral for the Warrior player.
Well, thankfully, Sledge Belcher is going to stall for a considerable amount of time. Now, MagicAmy like has to worry about the potential of Shield Slam or like Big Game Hunter on the Giant.
But if there wasn't removal for the Twilight Drake, You have to feel pretty comfortable playing the Mountain Giant.
No tap. So that they can coin out a Dark Bomb. Okay. Whoa.
Job's done.
Okay. Well, this is a very threatening board, and Sjow has to draw into an answer. That's not it. Whoa.
I have no time.
Sylvanas is pretty. It's a secondary way to deal with this kind of board, because it still needs to be answered. But you can just Sunfury Protector or the four attacks and just push through.
Yeah. Just like stall as long as possible. But this is where like Sylvanas.
Shields up.
Just thinking about like whirlwind effects and whatnot. Armor loss is not that big of a deal.
That's something.
Oh, you can steal the giant now. You execute the Drake,
Whirlwind.
kill off the Ancient Watcher, use a Fiery War Axe to chop down the Sunfury Protector.
And then you have a
And
nice,
then you have like a
pretty
whirlwind.
healthy Mountain Giant too.
Wait. Does he want to? He has a pretty healthy Mountain Giant, and he has a Sludge Belcher behind it. That's actually like, that's pretty nasty. If you just Whirlwind here after, or you don't even have to Whirlwind. You can just like Cruel Taskmaster, but then you can't play Sludge Belcher, so it has to be Whirlwind. Yep. Alright. Well, I guess you keep the health on it. Nice and clean. Good as new.
Good as new. Well, now Sjow's the one.
It's like on Amazon.
With
It's
the
like good
threads.
as new, right?
It never is.
I paid $2 for shipping. And you said it was good as new, but it's really just good. It's like, oh, you get 3 out of 5 stars. I'm like, oh, thanks, Amazon reviewer guy. Alright, well, that was actually a very fortunate top deck. The Siphon Soul. There was actually no way to deal with the giant.
Yeah, no BGH in hand. That would have just been like a... I don't even know, like an Earthen Ring Farseer.
I think it's been a very long time since I've seen Sylvanas have a really good steal, by the way.
It has been.
Like,
yeah.
Sylvanas usually gets played around really well. And today I feel like all of her steals have been pretty weak. That was like that was the best steal of the day.
It was.
The
That was
catch of the day
best
goes
steal
to
of the
goes to Sjow.
the steal of the week.
Well, no, oh yeah, sorry. Last week we saw some pretty wacky steals with like, he loaded up the board and then somehow stole Dr. Boom.
Yeah.
It's like it didn't
Oh
really
yeah, yeah,
matter.
yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty unlucky.
And we were both kind of just sitting there, like watching
laughing.
it unfold, like whoa, whoa.
I think it was Nyria.
Whoa.
I think Nyria is the one who got gypped by Sylvanas
Yeah.
RNG.
Okay, well, let's see. This is still,
Problematic.
yeah.
Nothing proactive to fight against the Sludge Belcher.
You can Hellfire Dark Bomb.
Yeah, I guess you could. That actually is your best bet to stop taking damage, and you actually make use of Hellfire, which isn't really that big.
Sort of the only play too. What else would you do? Throw down an antique heal bot?
No, that doesn't do anything.
No. Or throwing Farseer
You can't
either.
pass, right? You're at 10 cards? No, you're at 9 cards. Fake out. Overlay.
Okay, pass it is.
Oh, man.
I can take the
Oh,
hit.
man. So now you have Alexstrasza. You, like, load up the board very innocuously, and then it's like, Alexstrasza, 12 damage to the face, and it's like, oh, gosh.
And if she didn't have an answer to what you had on the board last turn, what are the odds?
Well, maybe he's, like, waiting for a better Hellfire opportunity.
This is a little bit better, but not really. And drawing an antique heal bot really doesn't do anything because she already had an antique heal bot in her hand.
Yep.
And she has to play something because she's at 10 cards, so she can't tap to look for an answer first. Well, I guess if she Hellfire taps, she still has Earthring Farseer as a fallback.
Yeah, the Dark Bomb takes out the most damage off the board, too.
That's true.
It is a little uncomfortable.
Well, I think drawing into that second Siphon Soul is a pretty big deal.
It is. How much damage can you have at max with Gromosh? 18. So even if he had the combination, it'd be 1 damage off. So still playing safe for now. For now, though, because it's starting to get a little bit dicier.
And I think Shield Maiden is sort of like that perfect middle ground threat. Like it has to be answered, but at the same time,
Right. It's like not warranting a Siphon Soul.
yeah. And if it gets a Siphon Soul out, then Sjow is going to be really, really happy. Because then it opens up Alexstrasza, and he knows that if he can Alexstrasza, then not only will it be effective by bringing it down to 15, but it's also effective because he knows that both Siphon Souls are gone. He doesn't have the Gromash though, so. But I guess the threat of that is still looming over MagicAmy's head. Ancient Watcher. Anti-Keelbot. Taunt.
You have 2 anti-Keelbots. Seems reasonable to me.
That's a good pickup as well.
Yeah. It nullifies the damage on the board too, because there's 8 damage already.
Yep.
You have 2 of them too, so at this point the antique Keelbot is just a stall.
There's no other reasonable play in this scenario.
Again, it's another thing that I encourage players to explore. As much as there see 2 antique Keelbots, like imagine if one was something else, like a Black Knight, or like how much life would have been a lot different.
Or Faceless Manipulator even.
Sometimes it's just the second one's just luxury. You don't really need it a lot of the time. Oh wow, that was really sad. You hear the way he died?
Yeah.
Dang.
It's a
I
very
was
sad
not ready
death
for that
animation.
feel.
Just got hit up with the anti-Keelbot feels.
I was.
Think about the life.
Powered down so dramatically.
Think about the life of an anti-Keelbot. He's already an antique. He's probably lived a very sad life.
I would assume that it's, you know, very healthy. He's lived for a long time. Well, Sjow's contemplating whether or not to leave up this Ancient Watcher, I think. Right? Or is he thinking about playing Harrison?
We got into a situation last game where Harrison could have been a big swing card.
Yeah, I think you still hold on to Harrison, but I think it's about whether or not you get rid of this Ancient Watcher.
But he knows that if he throws out Harrison and his opponent doesn't have any way to deal with this board, then he would be setting up for lethal next turn.
Hold on 20 health. It's a good compromise because, again, if he has Gromosh, it could be like threatening to kill him. This is like the continual struggle against Warrior. It's the same as if like you're playing Druid against Warrior, where it's like the always your looming threat of combo.
Yep.
It's like, oh yeah, do I have it? Do I have it? No, I don't have it. Just kidding. But I do have something else that might threaten it. You know.
And you always have to play around it, because you just never know.
I mean, there is a. It's like the shock threshold too. It's like people get scared up until a point where they just can't get scared anymore. It's like, you know. It's like it's a real thing in horror flicks. It's like
And
at one point it's just too much. It's just like, all right, well, whatever. I can't even process this anymore.
And that's the point when it hits you. The point where you stop being scared is the point where you should be scared the most.
I guess. All right, replace the Shadow Flame. And a tap to 9 cards. Still safe in range. I think it's time to Baron Geddon.
Yeah, it's really the only.
And then your opponent's Siphon Souls. So then, I guess you can chop the face eventually. Just not now, because Baron Geddon will put him down to 16. Something to consider though, for sure. In the next couple turns. Oh, he'd rather Alexstrasza here.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I don't know about this. I think I'd rather Baron Geddon in that situation.
Well, it's fine. Either way, you can BGH or Siphon Soul, the outcome's about the same.
I guess Baron Geddon is more flexible of a threat later on.
Right.
Because you can't just play Alexstrasza as a threat.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless like both
But,
players are at 15 health.
Now you're allowed to play Molten Giant with Big Game Hunter here.
I've got the beast in my
Indeed.
Do you tap? Do you feel confident enough to tap? No, you can't.
Well, if you're gonna Sunfury Protector,
Oh, that's true.
then you can tap.
Oh, you're right. If that's the case, then by all means, go
Yeah.
for it.
By all means,
Oh.
go right ahead.
Well, you got Sludge Belcher. That's even better.
It is. And that opens up Molten Giant for sure next turn. And there's the Grommash. The combo has been pieced.
Here we go, Baron Geddon. And he's Sjow used up all of his weapons, I think.
Yeah, both Dust Bites, both Fiery War Axes.
But he has the ultimate weapon, the Harrison Jones.
I thought Sjow scared me a little bit.
Oh, like he passed out.
Yeah.
Well, realistically, this gives an opportunity for Molten Giants, and then Sjow does have Brawl. He does have a way to kind of get the final say, and then, I mean, this is starting to come down to the wire here. Almost all of these series have gone the distance.
I wonder if we can get a card check going on right now. See how many cards MagicAmy has left in her deck, because she's tapped a whole heck of a lot this game. It seems like she's had a full game, full hand the entire game.
Whoa, Golden Siphon Soul is kind of badass.
We're experimenting here with MagicAmy's golden cards. We get to see every single one.
Oh man, do you play a Farseer? Or
Why would
tap?
I think play Farseer? You already have so many answers. At some point, you have to be a little bit conservative with your taps.
Okay.
Because if the game goes on long, then you could get to a point where its fatigue is going to come into play.
Aro. I thought we were Brawl Boys, but we're not. We're just we're waiting. Yeah, and that's a good reason why, because you really might need to try to get past more than just this sludge, or this slime rather. The second Sludge Belcher is problematic.
Yeah, that's why I like the Sludge Belchers late game in Handlock. Because they're just so hard to get through.
This is a very tight series. Pretty well played.
Yeah. It comes down to very, very small decisions. Sometimes the games come down to decisions that we didn't even
wait.
see.
Is it Jirax this time?
There's still a Molten Giant
You
left in
face
the deck.
Jiraxus.
Whoa. Whoa.
Oh man. Uh-oh. Does that open him up? No, not really. Sjow has so much armor, he still can shield slam. Oh, but he's actually just a little bit short. He's 4 damage off lethal, excuse me. But if you whirlwind shield slam, you can definitely grow mosh afterwards. Oh, he's gonna try to dump his hand before he Harrison Jones.
This is pretty good.
Yep. Here we go. Belongs in a museum, and he's going to most likely fill out his entire hand.
And he gets an Armor Smith to play as well.
Right.
Because
Gosh,
he's at 10 cards.
He still has a lot of cards left.
Whoa!
Was
He's
that
got-
Jiraxus like very premature? It was like 4 cards versus how many remaining?
Can we get a card hover
Warrior
over
still
again
has
here?
4 cards.
Okay, 3 cards for the Warrior.
wow.
Wow, it's pretty much even. Or 3 cards for the Warlock and 4 cards
War-
for the War. Even
Warrior was
after a
like-
7-card Harrison.
Warriors were like 8 or 9 cards behind.
Yeah, it felt like MagicAmy was tapping
That's
a lot.
wild.
Wow.
Okay. Well, now it's like an opportunity that you have to like capitalize on your Infernals every single turn. Goes without saying.
I wonder.
How shall I destroy you?
Golden Drax.
You can destroy me, Drax, by playing this matchup 15 times in a row.
I'm already.
How do I beat Rodan?
I'm already pretty much destroyed.
That's how you destroy my voice. If only.
Okay, well, hero power. Oh no.
Shadow Flame, and then you can hero power.
Okay.
So he gets a 6/6 out.
There's no possible way she can die to any type of
Yep.
combo
Now, the
shenanigans.
fact that the second Shadow Flame has been used makes her much more susceptible. Shield Slam off the top, Ragnaros. Pretty damn strong, because he's got Gromash Whirlwind Execute next turn. Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Dr. Boom is still pretty strong. But you're not worried about Molten Giants anymore.
No.
Go for it, I say.
And Rag's hard to deal with because it bypasses taunts as well. And both Siphon Souls are gone. Well, you can make some cheeky plays with the Owl.
Yes.
By silencing the Rag, so you can't bypass taunts. But what else?
I don't know. I don't think MagicAmy can pull out of this one. I think Sjow's got her. Because he had Harrison this time. That was like the difference between this game and the previous game. He had Mr. Jones. Her best bet is to Antique Healbot and taunt up.
Taunt up, yeah.
And from Sjow's perspective, he's sitting so pretty. He's got so much health, so he's got time to play with. He's got legitimate threats to back this up. He's got removal. He even has Brawl. Oh, well, he's got 2 Death Spites sitting at the bottom of his deck. That's pretty convenient.
I thought he went through both Dust Bites, but I guess
Well, he went through both the Fiery War Axes.
Yeah, I guess the games are starting to blend together, too. You try and think back, it's like, oh, just think back when the Death Bites were used.
Cool Taskmaster Execute. It's good. So that way you can save Whirlwind in case you need it for Gromash.
Yes.
Here we go. Ragnaros shot number 2.
Oh.
It's good.
And running out of cards here.
Oh man, MagicAmy doesn't have any more Shadow Flame. Ragnaros hitting the face was definitely a big deal.
Yeah.
Is there any way for her to survive it? Belcher?
Sledge Belcher and Earthen Ring Farseer. Still heals yourself out of range of a Rag hit to the face. Puts a wall up as well.
Oh man.
Oh, but wait, no. Because then Sledge Belcher could just, he could Grommash, Sledge Belcher, or Dustbite into the Sledge Belcher, Cruel Taskmaster in. I don't think there's...
Well, you're going to kill the Cool Taskmaster with the Sun Fury.
Oh, that's true. I thought the Sun Fury had already attacked. That's my fault.
This is still doable if Ragnaros hits the 3/3. Or is it? Maybe you want him to hit the face now because you need as many minions as possible. BGH pretty useless from this point on, unless he's going to target the Mountain Giant. I mean, he's not useless. That's a lie. I didn't mean it. I take it back. It's like it might be impactful, but not for a couple of turns at the most.
The Acolyte of Pain, on the other hand, is pretty useless.
Yeah, he's actually useless. Also a little creepy.
Do you want a Dr. Boom before you Deathbite here?
I think so, because you have a chance to go for some big lethal plays.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Whirlwind effects, Sjow for the win. These boom bots.
Face.
Trigger face, and it shoots down.
All right, we got a 1 in 3 chance.
Here we go for the win.
Oh,
but it effectively is anyways. How is MagicAmy supposed to pull out this one?
And a Molten Giant on the last draw.
Listen, MagicAmy's done a lot of tricks, but she can't disappear out of this bind.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think this
She
might
can't pull a rabbit out of this hat. watched The Prestige recently.
Is that why? Is that why you're
I
going?
did, and dude, I was not ready for that ending.
It was pretty crazy.
I watched it on the plane after lots of recommendations.
And MagicAmy
Bravo.
is not ready
Great
for this
movie.
ending.
No, she needs a lot. Actually, I don't want to spoil it, but she needs a lot of doubles in order to get out of this one.
I don't want to spoil it. But well, I don't want to spoil it, but let me go ahead and spoil it. Okay. Yeah.
I think this is it. Show's going to go to the finals because there's lots of ways for him to deal with this board. Oh gosh, actually, Lothab does complicate things a little bit. 2 acolytes on the bottom. Also explains why Show's card draw was so lackluster this game.
Yeah. He was really short on cards until the Harrison came out.
So, weapon. Guess just attack the face.
Yeah.
Like,
She's on fatigue, so
anything. Oh, you're right. She's going to be taking damage from fatigue anyways. Alright, well, 1 damage remaining. She has to win this turn. And there's just absolutely no way. Actually, she's on such low health, Molten Giant is now playable.
yeah, it's not often that you can play a Molten Giant, and this is going to be,
I think we've seen it all by now.
yeah. Well, she would have had to have killed him this turn. But it looks like, wow, after all that,
MagicAmy
Sjow
gets
is gonna take
stopped
it.
in the semifinals, and that means Sjow versus Dark Wanix in all Swedish finals. 1 best-of-5 to determine who is coming here to California with a paid trip, as well as a chance to win $20,000. Now, of course, MagicAmy will get an invite post-New Year's for her accomplishments, and Sjow and Dark Wanix are also guaranteed, but only one of them will be coming here.
I'm really looking forward to seeing which one of these guys is going to go through, and I'm pretty happy with the result either way. I think both these guys will definitely represent well, whichever one makes it to that $20,000 land finals, and I think that even the person that doesn't make it will still have a good showing in the following weeks when they're invited back, so should be great.
Wow. What a really long day, but more specifically for Sjow, he also streamed today, I think. So it's like,
I don't know if he was expecting it to go this long.
yeah, I mean, it's we all expected this to end a few hours ago, but every series has been going down 3-2, 3-2, 3-2. It's really, really tight, and it's been a lot of fun.
It has.
That series was brought to you guys by Newegg, Western Digital, Crucial, and Cooler Master, our sponsors. We're very proud to represent them. You can check out all their cool stuff with deals at this link at the bottom of the screen at esl.gg/Newegg Esports. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to have the grand finals to determine who is getting a ticket to California. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be back in just a sec.